Hi, I'm Richard Berry, broker associate with the Cisco Group Realtors in Overland Park, Kansas. Over this series, we've talked about preparing yourself, determining the price, and preparing your home. The next step is critical: doing the disclosures. Sellers' disclosures may take different forms in different parts of the country, but the principles will remain the same. My specific description applies to the Kansas City area. Before you go to market, your realtor will usually ask you to fill out a seller's disclosure. This document lists any known defects or issues with your property. Most people are pretty uncomfortable filling these out. They feel it leaves them in a weaker position, vulnerable to being beat down on price, or forcing them into repairs that they don't want to do. While that's the most common way to look at it, it's also the wrong way to look at it. There are several reasons. You and your realtor should have reviewed and decided on repairs by this point. Your realtor can help you arrive at the correct price, as mentioned earlier. The price should account for repairs done, repairs not done, and the general condition of the house. One special condition is when the house is sold as is. As is generally means that no repairs will be done for the buyer. And it often means that no repairs have been done either. If you want to sell your home as is, that will significantly reduce your value, usually more than the cost of any repairs. Buyers don't like risk. Use as is only if absolutely necessary. Finally, looking at a seller's disclosure as making you vulnerable is exactly the opposite of reality. This document is a way of protecting yourself. Think of it as transferring ownership of the issues that you've noted. First, it blunts the impact of any defects or issues. Once you come to terms with your buyer, this document becomes part of the contract, meaning that the buyer accepts those disclosures, unless overridden by other terms. That becomes part of the contract. That means they acknowledge that the price includes whatever issues you have called out. They may still try to negotiate some repairs, but even by requesting repairs, they are acknowledging that they are aware of those issues. Next, it limits your liability. If a major defect were found after the sale and if it weren't called out in the disclosure, your buyer could come back on you, claiming that the defect pre-existed the sale and that you either knew or you should have known and are therefore liable. If your realtor is aware of a significant defect that you haven't called out, he or she is required by law and the realtor's code of ethics to make the buyer aware of it. Failure to do so could risk their license. Next, it limits any surprises in the inspection. In most cases, a buyer will have a formal inspection. Most major defects will be found. Even if a defect is beyond what their inspector can examine, the inspector may still call out an area of concern and recommend a specialist. The more new items they find, the more they will want to negotiate repairs or the price. Finally, it actually gives the buyer confidence. The more they know, the more comfortable they are with the buying decision. It also increases the confidence in the seller's transparency. Folks generally tend to be more comfortable with problems they know about than the worry of undisclosed problems. That's why my motto is, when in doubt, call it out. One more disclosure is the lead-based paint disclosure. If your home was built before 1978, you'll also have this one more document to fill out. It's required by law in the sale of a home. It simply asks if you are aware of any lead-based paint in your home or if you have had any testing for lead-based paint done. Your realtor may need additional items, but these are the most common. I hope you enjoyed this episode of 3-Minute Real Estate. If you like what you see, please click on subscribe and click on the bell to be notified when new episodes come out. See you next time.
Count on me just like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. You can count on me. You can count on me. Yeah, you can